Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and just to be on the safe side, hello! It's Lynn from the Learn English Network here, yet again, for another day of highs and hellos. Do you get that? Highs and lows, highs and hellos. Oh, that one was for Aladdin, who went, say more than hi, please, please, it's driving me nuts. So, somebody this week said in one of the sessions, you laugh a lot, and I didn't know how to respond at the time. It was almost as if it was a bad thing. Hey guys, you're living on a planet with oxygen, and it's the only one for, I don't know how many thousands of light years away is the next planet with oxygen. We don't even know that. So if that's not a reason to be cheerful, I don't know what is. And we will start. And we got our first hi from Summer. Hi! And Summer couldn't even put a capital H and a full stop. So Summer, come on, if you're only going to say hi, make it a perfect hi. Capital H, small I, full stop. Amatsu said, hi Summer. And I said, hi Summer, a bit late for live chat, maybe next week. Ajar then replied to me, not Summer, and said, hello teacher, how are you? And I said, hi Ajar, I'm fine, but very busy doing the accounts. Hopefully in a week's time, I will have a bit more spare time. Just so you know, next week, I'm going to be in the UK, so everything might be a bit wobbly on timings and recordings. I'm going to try to get everything on time. I'm going to try to log in and do the sessions, because we'll be doing a bit of training with Amatsu as well. But as you know, using a laptop to do this kind of stuff can be a bit flaky. So if I am late, if I don't turn up, I apologise in advance. Okay, I'll put a note on the forum as well. Amatsu also said, hi everyone, we are having a wonderful Indian summer in England at the moment. Do you know what that means? Nobody replied. Somebody did vote it up, but nobody replied. So I guess you don't know what it means. An Indian summer is what they call in Germany an old woman's summer, actually, Amatsu. And it just means the weather's nice, but it's autumnal, yeah? So it's autumn, but the weather is summery, and we call it an Indian summer. Ehab came along and said, hi again, small h, small I, bleh. Capital H, small I, full stop. Hi, Emad. Nivedita said, hello, E. I am new here. So, Nivedita, hello, capital H, and then comma after the O, and then either capital I space AM for I am, or capital I apostrophe M, which is the short form of I am, new here, don't forget your full stop. Ajar said, hello Nivedita, how are you? If I am right, so you are Indian, Okay, so Ajar, you'd say, if I'm right, comma, you're Indian, full stop. Why the I'm not sure why you would say that. You wouldn't say that in a conversation, would you? I think you must be English. Don't forget, live chat should run like a little conversation. So if you wouldn't say it speaking, then don't type it in live chat. Nevadita said, now done. Hey, anyone, her, knock, knock. And then tongue, was it apostrophe P? That's tongue sticking out, isn't it? Well, to you too, Nevadita. So, I think what you were trying to say, now I'm done. Now I'm done, as in now I'm finished. So don't forget capitalise and full stop. Hey, hey is not something I would use. I'd say hello. Is there anyone here? Not anyone, her. Here is H-E-R-E. Otherwise you're saying her. Knock knock was funny, but again, capital K. And Zeb said, the door is open. So, where were you, Nivedita? You should have walked in. Milana came along and said hello. Milana, very good. You just needed that little full stop after hello. Opie said, hello, how are you? So, Opie, capital H, full stop after the O, and then capital H for your question, how are you? Nice to see you put your question mark there. Well done. Milana also said, are you here? Not sure who you were sending that to, Milana, but maybe you could say, is there anyone here? Ajar said, hello Milana, how are you? And Milana said, I have a day off today, so I'm good. And how are you? So, I have a day off today, so I'm good. Then full stop, and then just put how are you with a capital H. Fine too, said Ajar. So capital F, Ajar. Full stop. Sorry for late reply. Question mark. Does that mean you aren't sorry, or you are sorry, or you were asking Milana if she's sorry? I don't know why you put a question mark. What you could say is, sorry for the late reply, full stop. By the way, what do you do? So, by, capital B, the way, by the way, comma, what do you do? Okay, your question mark was perfect. Too many dots. Do you have Skype or Gmail ID? Honestly, Ajar, you asking that straight away? You've not even found out what this person does. You've not had a conversation. They're not going to reply. Probably. Some people might, but probably they're not going to reply. And you would say, do you have a Skype or Gmail ID? Question mark with a capital D. Zeb replied to Milana's "Are you here?" by saying, "I am, after some lapse of time." Yeah, that's life on the internet. Yep. If you're expecting things to just run one, you post, you get a reply, you post, you get a reply. You need to come to one of our sessions on Skype live chat or on Discuss live chat. Because I sit here for half an hour every Tuesday and I write 2014 and the date, live chat. You are more than welcome to type in your replies. Nobody does. Doesn't matter. I'm here anyway. And I spend my time doing really interesting stuff like accounts or planning sessions. So it's all good. But otherwise you will have to be patient and wait and just have a normal extended conversation. Don't expect people to be waiting for you and expect people to reply instantly. It's the internet. Everything's got a little bit of a time delay. So, Raslin Lynn said hello. Raslin, capital H, full stop. Morning, said Zeb. You got an apostrophe before the morning. Was that to indicate there was a missing good or something? If you're going to say morning, by the way, we do say that. It's not always good morning, how do you do? You can just say morning and then with an exclamation mark. Yeah? So it's a bit of annoying, bright, cheerful morning for some people, but it's still said. Reza said hi. Reza, okay, full stop. And hi Zeb as well. And Zeb said hi Reza. And don't forget your full stops, Reza. Reza said, I want to ask about some English words. Anybody here to answer? So, not wanna, I want to. I want to ask about some English words. Is there anybody here who can answer me? Or is there anybody here who is willing to answer me? Or can anyone help me? Okay? And anybody is one word. Anybody would indicate something dead. Okay? Zeb said, if you write down your question, you'll soon discover if there's anybody around with an answer. Exactly, Zeb. Reza, you're more than welcome to ask questions about vocabulary. You might find it more comfortable on the forum. It's a little bit less open, but it's up to you. Okay? I'm not sure. Maybe later you actually put which words you're struggling with. Milana came back and said, I live in Ukraine and the weather now is awful. Okay, I live in Ukraine, comma, and, not end. It says end. And the weather now is awful. And it's just one L at the end of awful. Okay? Then full stop, just the one. Don't let Ajar infect you with this multiple dotting that he's so fond of. It's cold, rainy and horrible wind. Okay, it's cold, comma, space, rainy, comma, and there's a horrible wind. Or you could say it's cold, rainy and horribly windy, full stop. And then no space after the D, just your full stop comes straight after the last letter of your sentence. I'm stay at home today. Okay, I'm staying at home today. Fortunately, I have a day off today, full stop. One full stop. And what the weather in your city now? Okay. What's the weather like in your city with a C, C-I-T-Y, now? Zeb said, my city is Paris. It's a bit chilly here, but sunny with blue skies. Overall, September has been awesome in the north part of France. Ah, lucky you, Zeb. Milana said, it's cool. I like when autumn is a bit chilly but sunny. You can walk in the park with a lot of yellow leaves. It's very beautiful. Okay. That's cool, maybe. Do you mean the weather's cool, or that's cool that Zeb is enjoying the weather. Because cool can be, hey, cool, like the Fonz, or cool as in, brr, it's a bit cold, I need a jumper. So you could say, I like it when autumn is a bit chilly, comma, but sunny. Full stop. You can walk in the park and there are lots of yellow leaves. Full stop. It's very beautiful. Full stop. Zeb said yes, but if it starts raining, the pavement becomes treacherous. It's quite funny sometimes, as many ladies in cities can't help but walk in high heels, whatever the weather conditions. You said it's cold in Ukraine. Have you already got the heating system on? Milana said no, but usually heating system is turns on in November, so we are hopes. They will turn it on this year too. Okay, so no, but usually the heating system is turned on in November, comma, straight after the R. So we are hopeful that they will turn it on this year too, TOO, and full stop. At my place, said Seb, the central heating system is turned on in late October. Tenants have no say about the date, so people usually have an electric backup heater that they use when September and October are exceptionally cold. What's your ideal room temperature when you're at home? I wrote, the average indoor temperature of British homes has risen. In 1970 it was about 12 degrees, but nowadays it's about 17.5 degrees. I like my house to be toasty, and luckily I can decide when to switch the central heating on. 12, said Seb. Brrr, 17.5. Please could you increase the thermostat temperature by 2 degrees? I like to movra around in my t-shirts only. Oh, I hope you wear more than a t-shirt, Seb. That's just too much information. So, not movra, move, M-O-V-E. I think that was probably just a typo, though. Milana said, I'm studying English, so I'm sorry for mistakes. Hey, Milana, if you can't make mistakes here, where can you? So, I'm studying English, so I'm sorry for any mistakes I might have made. Full stop, okay? You're studying English, said Zeb, and shouldn't be sorry for your mistakes. You'll probably learn a lot from them. Let's hope. I'm not watching news on TV, said Milana, because it's scary and awful what they show, and mostly of news it's not true. But war on the east is the most scary in Ukrainian people life. So, I'm not watching the news on TV, comma, because it is scary and awful. Because the things that they show are scary and awful, and most of the news is not true, comma, but the war in the East is the scariest thing in Ukrainian people's lives. I agree. It's pretty scary from where I am, to be honest, Milana. Okay, said Zeb, you don't watch the news on TV because they focus on warfare and conflicts, but you still keep in touch with what's going on around the world, don't you? There are all sorts of news. I wrote, I know a few people who refuse to watch the news for exactly the same reasons. The problem is they also have no idea of what's going on. Zeb said, I'm far from being a news junkie, but I dislike to be disconnected to the world I live in. Yeah, I think, Zeb, the main problem is how the news is portrayed. I watch several news channels just to get a more balanced view. So, because if you only watch the BBC, you kind of get the BBC view. And although they're meant to be impartial, quite often you think, that wasn't impartial. Sort of representing Britain. And so I also watch Chinese news, I watch Russian news, always in English, of course, but you do get a different idea of how people view what's happening. Mary came along and said, the weather is a bit windy and cool tonight in Tehran. I hope it rains. Zeb said, why? Because it hasn't been raining for a long time in Tehran? And Mary replied, exactly. In summer, there was no rain, and now in autumn we hope it rains. So, Mary, you could say exactly and then full stop. In summer there was no rain, comma, and now in autumn we hope it rains. If it doesn't rain in autumn, said Zeb, what are going to be the consequences? Okay, what will the consequences be? Not what are going to be the consequences, or what may the consequences be? What might the consequences be? Because you don't really know, you're guessing. Does it mean that the water supplies for humans and cultures will be at risk? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by cultures. Does it mean that the water supply... Don't ask me why, but we always talk about the water supply as if there's only one. Does it mean that the water supply for humans and cultivation, maybe you meant, or farming, will be at risk? Mary said, we are in drought, and you write, water resources are at risk. So, Mary, you'd say we with a capital W, we have a drought, comma, and you're right, YOU''RE. Our water resources are at risk, and resources and risk should be small r. In France, said Zeb, when water reserves are low, people can't wash their car or water their garden. Are there the same kinds of measures where you are? And I replied, actually, by the way, Zeb, I wouldn't say can't wash their car, aren't allowed to wash their car, or shouldn't wash their car, because of course they can wash their car if they just go and fill up a bucket, but they're not allowed to. Okay, that's the difference between can and can't. We did that in a couple of sessions this week. It cropped up, and I kept having to say, actually, I can, but I really shouldn't. I replied, in the UK we call that a hosepipe ban. I know everyone thinks it rains all the time in the UK, but we often have water shortages in the summer. It's shocking but true, especially down south, and when the water reservoirs are low, then they will put in a hosepipe ban. And there have even been cases of the water being cut off and people having to go to a standpipe to be rationed water. It's amazing in the 2014, but it's true. Hosepipe bans, said Zeb, have always happened during the summertime here. Hang on. Hosepipe bans have always happened during summertime here, or hosepipe bans always happen during the summer here. Authorities usually have an idea of how tough it'll be based on how much rain we have during winter. It seems to not matter how much rain we have in the winter, to be honest, Seb. It can be the wettest winter on record, and still, if it doesn't rain during the summer, they will impose a hosepipe ban. It's very weird. I don't understand it, but then I'm not a meteorologist, so I have to accept that maybe the experts know what they're doing. Okay, Bren came along and said, hi, I live in Mexico City. The weather here is weird, which I loved. Okay. You need a full stop at the end of your sentence there, Bren, that's all. What do you mean? Asked Zeb. What's the weather like? What should it be like? Bren said, I mean is weird because the wheater changes in a few minutes. Some moments it's cold, hot and rainy. Okay, capital I mean it is weird, comma, because it changes every few minutes. One moment it's cold, the next hot and rainy. Zeb then said, and the other moment it turns into what? A furnace? Capital I for your it there. Yeah, okay. Bren also said, anybody knows how I can prove my skills on writing? Okay. Anybody, one word, capital A. Does, in fact, I'd start with does. Does anybody know how I, capital I, can improve my writing skills? And writing, this is a good one. To improve your writing, you can do it instantly by just having one T for writing. Yeah, WRITING. I replied, what kind of writing do you prefer? What style? Oppie said, hi, how are you? Oppie, capital H, small I, full stop, capital H, how are you? And Zeb asked, what's wrong with your writing? But Bren doesn't want to let us know. Oppie then said hello, Zeb said hello, I said hello, Oppie, capital H, Oppie, full stop. Null said hello everyone, capital H, and one full stop, Null, okay? Milana said, hi everybody, what kind of restaurants do you like? So, hi everybody, full stop, then capital W, because it's a new... Normally questions stand alone as full sentences. Capital W, what kind of restaurants do you like? Mary said, restaurants that I feel comfortable. So Mary, maybe restaurants that I feel comfortable in. Zeb said, now you'll have to tell us what it takes for you to feel comfortable. And Zeb replied to Milana, restaurants that allow people to stay as long as they want to, enjoy the food and the company of the people you're with. Oh, I agree with you there, Zeb. You should come to Germany. They never rush you off your table. In England, it's terrible. As soon as you've finished eating, somebody will whip away all the cutlery and the glasses and leave you with an empty table because they really want you to leave, and it's so obvious. In Germany, they kind of leave you alone. In fact, in Germany, if you're in a hurry, it can get annoying because you want to pay and nobody will let you. Come to Germany, Zeb. And I've replied, admittedly, just now, the most important thing for me is that it serves good food, preferably something I wouldn't be able to cook at home. My next criteria is the ambiance. It should be relaxed and friendly, and believe it or not, it should allow dogs. One reason I enjoy living in Germany and visiting France is that most places allow dogs. I guess that's what makes me feel comfortable in them, Mary. Okay. Now, hi guys, can anyone help me? How to make a summary of an article? Any tips, or what should we point on doing a summary? Okay, hi guys, capital H, comma. Can anyone help me? How can I make a summary of an article? Do you have any tips on what I should concentrate on when writing a summary? Hi Noel, said Zeb. Have you ever written a summary in your native language? If so, I think that you could apply the same method to write one in English. Nal said, write a summary in my native language is quite easy. My problem here is all about English writing skill, lack of vocab as well. All the words used in summary cannot over-limit, so it's quite tough to choose the proper words to describe a point. Okay, writing a summary in my native language is quite easy, full stop. You need a capital W there. My problem here, capital M, comma, is my English writing skills, comma, lack of vocabulary, comma, and all the words used in the summary cannot be over the limit, full stop, comma. So it is quite tough to choose the proper words to make a point, full stop. BTW, by the way, thank Zeb. You'd say thanks, yeah? Thanks, Zeb, would mean, Lynn, could you thank Zeb for me? And when you're actually saying to the person, you say thank you or thanks. I wrote, when you learn a new language, Nal, you have to accept that your communication skills take a big step back. Teacher, said Nal, help me please. Yes, teacher. Now I always practice doing an exercise to improve my English. Okay, so yes, teacher, capital Y, comma. Nowadays I am always practicing to improve my English, capital E and capital I for I'm. By the way, teacher, BTW teacher, by the way, I want to ask you after word always, we should add ing after that word. For example, men are always underestimating women. It is true or not? Okay. That needs to go on the grammar page, to be honest now. And after the word always, should we add ing after that word? Men are always underestimating women, only if it's a negative thing, yeah? I always open the window first thing in the morning. Yeah, it hasn't got an ing after it, has it? But if I said, oh, you're always opening the window first thing in the morning, it means I don't like you doing it. Okay, this sort of thing is very subtle though. Best thing, practice. Come along to our sessions and try making sentences using that kind of thing and I'll correct you. Zeb then said, so you don't have any problem with the structure of a summary. Your main problem is the choice of vocab, isn't it? I love that so. It's like you're interrogating her. Said Niall. Sometime okay, sometime not. Okay, sometimes. Okay, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it isn't. Depend on article. Okay, it depends on the THE article. Full stop. Yes, Zeb, that very big prob. Okay, yes, Zeb, capital Y, it's a very big problem. PROBLEM. Zeb said, when I have a vocab or expression issue, I cheat. I use Lingui, which allows me to find the word or expression I'm looking for in another language. Recently, I was looking for the equivalent of the Spanish mija se gracia in English. And if you look at examples of how it has been translated in different texts, it seems to be it makes me laugh. Nice tip, Zeb. Well done. I'll try and nick that one. Okay, guest came along, and I think it's Miley, but Miley's changed his name from small m Miley to capital M Miley. Are you the same Miley? Hi, Ferns. What can I say? Capital H, small I, just the one. Friends, Friends. Hi, Miley, said Zeb. Hello, Fern, said Miley. I'm a new member of this group. So, hello, friend, Friend, capital H, comma. I'm, capital I, apostrophe M, a new member of this group, full stop. Are you expecting something special out of it? Asked Zeb. Miley said, yep. But it only want to learn fluency in English here. Yes, Y-E-S, comma, but I, capital I, and but is B-U-T, only want to learn English fluency here, capital E, full stop. Being able to communicate easily in English in different contexts, it's also what I'm looking for. By the way, where you live, asked Miley. So, by the way, comma, where do you live, Y-O-U. And by the way should be with a capital B, one question mark, just the one. Oh, nice, said Miley. I think you were replying to something else there. Oh, I see. Zeb then said, I live in France. It's in Western Europe. Are you in Europe too? And Europe is always with a capital E. Which I think that's when Miley said, oh, nice. That sounds great. I'm from India. So, Miley, that, capital T, sounds great, comma, I'm, so capital I apostrophe M, from India. Capital I and then small Ndia. Otherwise you're saying, I'm from India! Shouting! Full stop. Zeb said, I guess you have heard of Mangalayan then. Well done, India. I'm not sure what that means. Obviously, Miley knew because he said thanks. So I'll have to remain ignorant. By the way, Zeb, is audio chatting is possible in this group? Okay, so Miley, thanks with a capital T and one full stop. And then capital B, by the way, comma, Zeb with a capital X, comma, is audio chatting possible in this group? And one question mark. Zeb said it's only text chat here, but the network runs voice sessions. If you explore the chat menu at the top of the page and have a look at the calendar of events, you'll get to know more about them. I'll have to go now, Miley. See you later. Okay, said Miley. Thanks. Bye, Zeb. Nice to talk with you. Or with oo. Okay, so okay with a capital O, capital K, or capital O-K-A-Y, and then comma, thanks, full stop. Bye, Zeb, with a capital B and a capital X because it's Zeb's name, full stop. And then nice with a capital N to talk with, W-I-T-H-U-Y-O-U, full stop. So, nice conversation. Yeah, Tuesday you'll find is text chat only, discuss is text chat only, but we run sessions with voice on practically every other day of the working week. And even if you can't talk with us, we like to point you at places where you can go and talk with other people. So it's all good. Lola said hi there. So Lola, capital H and a full stop. No one there, asked Lola. Capital N Lola. And obviously when you were on... no, there was no one there. But then Lola said, well, I've been living in an English-speaking country for 2 years. My English sucks. That makes me really sad. I have not a single friend to speak in English, and all the people that I talk to speak my native language. Going into a live chat is depressing. Help! Ah, it's not depressing here. We have fun. So, Lola, well, capital W. I've, and then one comma. I've, capital I, apostrophe V-E, for short for I have, been living in an English, capital E, speaking country for the last 2 years, comma, but my English still sucks. Okay, capital E for English. It makes, I'd say it rather than that, it, capital I, makes me really sad. And you don't need to capitalise it, okay? Full stop. I don't have a single friend to speak in English with, okay, capital E, comma, and all the people that I, capital I, talk to speak, S-P-E-A-K, my native language, full stop. Going into a live chat is depressing. Help! You want an exclamation mark after that big capitalised help. Amatsu said, I'm confused, Lola. If it's an English-speaking country, there must be people to speak English with. Yep. I'm trying to learn French. You just have to get over any embarrassment and just go for it. To quote a certain English teacher. I wonder who that might be. Lola then said, I guess it's hard to believe I'm actually at uni doing a bachelor in English, but still all my friends speak my language. People don't want to talk to someone who doesn't speak English properly. I wrote, oh Lola, you have fallen into the expat trap. So, first of all, Lola, your text. Capital I, guess it is hard to believe. Full stop. I'm actually, which would be capital I apostrophe M, at uni, doing a bachelor's in English, capital E, comma, but still, all my friends speak my language, full stop. Then capital P, people don't, D-O-N apostrophe T, want to talk to someone who doesn't, D-O-E-S-N apostrophe T, speak English, capital E, properly, full stop. What's properly? Hey? Have you listened to some English speakers? Nothing proper about that. Anyhow, my response to, oh Lola, you have fallen into the expat trap was, haha, and how bad is that? pretty bad, Lola. It's when you hang out with people who speak your own language because you're frightened of speaking to other people, or you think they don't want to speak to you, and it's not true. You just have to find the ones who are patient enough to speak with you, okay? Anyone else isn't worth your time. Anyhow, I replied, start an English-speaking club. You won't be alone in your frustration, and one thing unis are good for is starting clubs. Zeb then said, is it true with whoever people you want to communicate with, or is it only with your peers at the university? Is it true with whoever you want to communicate with? Whoever is always people who, yeah? So, is it true of whoever you want to communicate with, comma, or is it only with your peers at the university? Lola said, I think sometimes it's harder at uni than anywhere else. So, capital I, think sometimes it is harder at uni than, THAN, anywhere else. I come from a country in which you make friends really easy. Here is different, and the language barrier makes things way more complex. So, capital I, come from a country in which you can make friends really easily, full stop. Here, capital H, it is different, comma, and the language barrier makes things way more complex, full stop. Zeb said, have you tried to do activities not connected to uni environment and studies? So, not connected to the uni environment. So there's no E after the N. So it's ENVIRONMENT. If you have a hobby, why not do it outside the campus and your current friends? I think that would eliminate the pressure of how good you should speak regarding their criteria. Universities seem to be a very competitive environment nowadays. Yes, I agree with your little smiley there, Zeb, your emoticon there. It's true. People seem to think it's a competition rather than a chance to cooperate. Well. Dora said, hey there, and Amatsu said, hey there, Dora. Amatsu, don't encourage this hay. Horses eat hay, can't you remember? Hi there, Dora. So, hi, capital H-I, T-H-E-R-E, full stop. Thomas J. Oh, is that Thomas Jude? I'm not sure. I can't always tell, but maybe it is. Said, hi, can someone help me with this? I want to say I'm not interested in share trading. Share trading is not in my league. Does this mean the same? And I replied, I'd say I'm not interested in playing the market. If you want to say it the other way, trading in stocks and shares is out of my league. If something isn't in your league, it means you're too good for it. So, yeah, hey, you're not in my league, as in I'm better than you. So if you want to say it's outside your comfort zone, you could say that as well. Share trading is outside my comfort zone. Or, I don't have enough money to waste on share trading. Zeb said, it doesn't make sense to me, but I have no problem to understand I'm not interested in share trading. Quite right. Dora said, well, what's the need to say this? But if you really want to say it, I think both are same. Depends on condition in which you are saying. Well done, Dora. I wouldn't say what's the need. I'd say, well, why do you need to say this? And then if you really want to say it, I think both are the same, full stop. And you just need a comma. It depends on the conditions. No, I'd say it depends on the context in which you are saying it. And why are you for you? And a full stop. Hello, said hello. You wanted me to say that, didn't you? Is this your live chat? Well, what can I say to that? I said no, it's yours. Sorry. Oh, did I just snort on live? Oh, well, nobody ever listens, it's fine. Miley said, hi, Thomas. Both not exactly same, but yes, you can use both sentences at same place. So, Miley, I think you were replying to Thomas's I'm not interested in share trading. I would say stocks and shares, by the way, to be quite honest. So, hi, capital H-I, Thomas, comma. Both aren't exactly the same, comma, but yes, you, why are you, can use both sentences in the same way, I would say, full stop. I said, hi, Miley, it's best to click on reply. Because at the moment you got, hi, Thomas, it's just standing there out on its own. It just happens that I know what you're talking about. Other people, maybe not so much. And then Miley said, hi, anyone there? Question. So, hi, capital H-I, comma, is anyone there? One question mark. And Miley also said, can anyone tell me how to improve public speaking skills? Oh, dear. Okay, put the fear of God into everybody, why don't you? So, capital C for can, anyone tell me, comma, how can I improve my public speaking skills? One question mark. I asked, have you got a Toastmasters club in your area? And Miley said, what is meant by Toastmasters club? Okay, so not what is meant. What is a Toastmasters club, or what do you mean Toastmasters club? Capital W at the beginning of your sentence. Zeb said, did you Google for it since you wrote this question? If not, here you are. And she kindly gave a link to the Toastmasters club. And I said to Zeb, I use Let Me Google That For You. And I gave a link to the Let Me Google That For You Toastmasters Club. They're basically an organisation that promotes public speaking. And I know of a few people, learners, English learners. You have to be of a certain standard, but they've joined it and they've really gained benefit from it because it forces you to publicly speak about all sorts of different subjects and topics. It's not aimed specifically at English learners, but it is good for advanced English learners. Okay? Anyhow, Dora popped in and said, yeah, just go at a public place and start speaking. So, yeah, capital Y, or yes, if you don't want to be slangy, just go to a public place and start speaking, full stop. I replied, you can do that in the UK, in London. We have a place called Speaker's Corner, and you're allowed to stand and talk to anyone who's willing to listen. Hee Dora, said Miley. Dora with a capital D, Miley. It doesn't like that. It doesn't like that? What, your cat? So, it isn't like that. Comma, it is a skill, full stop. And I agree, but you know what you need to do to improve in any skill? You do need to practice, okay? How typical is this, Miley said. How can V find who is online at present? I'm not sure what you meant there, Miley. How typical is what? This live chat? What do you mean by typical? Okay, I was really confused. How can I find who is online at present? One question mark, capital H. You just have to ask, Miley. And yeah, there's no way. I don't think there's a way of seeing who's online. But if you look at the calendar, you will see when I should be online. Okay, so Tuesday mornings, 10:30 my time. Zeb said, fortunately, this doesn't seem possible here. Trust you, Zeb. When I'm online and want to get in touch, I do, and it doesn't matter who is or is not online. And I think that's the best way to do that. I really do. Anyhow, Bilal came along and asked the same question, how I can find that who is online. Honestly more bartat thar, lad. That? I'm not sure. Okay, so how, capital H, can I find out who is online? One question mark. I think that's what you wanted to ask, Bilal. Aslam said, I'm online every day at this time. So, Aslam, you wanted to say every day, not every day. That's like everyday English, everyday clothing. So something that is for every day, as opposed to every day, which is each and every day. Now, Americans do not distinguish between the two. I've been reliably informed, but I prefer to distinguish between the two because it makes more sense of your English. Yeah, that's all. Other than that, that was perfect, Aslam. Zeb said, does it matter who's online? And I replied, well, I guess we need someone to be online. Otherwise you end up having a conversation with yourself. We know what that means. Corkini said, hi people. And Zeb said, hi Corkini. How's your weekend going on? Oh, okay. So how's your weekend going? Not going on, okay? We don't know because Corkini didn't reply. Morogwai came in and said, hello, you need to study a good topic, prepare and do. Okay, I think Morogwai might have been replying again to Thomas's question about presentations. So I'll take it that's what you were doing, Morogwai. And I'd say hello, capital H, and then you've got a full stop, that's fine, but then you need capital Y for you. You need to study a good topic, comma, prepare it, comma, and do it, full stop. Hello, Morogwai, said Zeb. What topic do I need to prepare and do? What for? I think, as I say, it was for Thomas's question, Zeb. That's why you need to click reply, guys. Otherwise, it's really confusing. Anyhow, Zeb, prepare. Prepare. But I'm sure it was a typo. Geziverd came, said hi. Capital H, full stop. Zeb said hi. So Geziverd, have a look at how Zeb did it. It was perfect. Amir came and said Amir. So Zeb came and said Zeb. Hey, that's what I like to see. Having a bit of fun. Dora said, I want to improve my English, so I need help. Okay, so capital I, Dora. English with a capital E. That's fine. Then a comma. So I need help. Capital I. One full stop. Hi, Dora. Zeb said, the good thing here is that you can help yourself with all the resources that have been made available for us. There are voice sessions, the lesson website, the forum, immersion adventures in SL, text chatting, the magazine and more. How good is that? Very good question. Hello, anybody, said Dora. One question mark, Dora. And Elshan said, hi, how... Ryu, who is online? So, Elshan, hi, one I. Capital H, comma. How are you? Capital H, AREYOU, question mark. Who is online? Question mark. Evelyn came along and said, I have a narrative to do about me coming to America. Reason I'm here is because I've been staring at a blank page, not knowing how to start my essay. Help, please. I'm a big procrastinator, so I need it quick. Lol. I take it that this is a time-sensitive thing. Really, we don't do quick, because of the nature of the network. It's all free and, everybody's a volunteer. So quick, best to sort of know that we're here and the next time don't procrastinate so much. So, Evelyn, capital I, have a narrative to prepare about why I came to America, capital A, full stop. The, capital T, reason I'm here, capital I apostrophe M, is because I've... capital I apostrophe VE, been staring at a blank page, comma, not knowing how to start my essay. Please help me, full stop. I'm, capital I apostrophe M, a big procrastinator, comma, so I, capital I, need it quick. Lol, full stop. Wow, you've got writer's block, I said. Maybe start by telling us about why you went to America. I mean, if you're stuck about what to write on a piece of paper, start having a conversation with real people. Are you still in front of a blank page, Evelyn? Asked Zeb. I don't know. I presume she had inspiration and she has gone away to write on her piece of paper, I should say. Carla said hi. Carla, capital H, small I, full stop. Nisha said, hi, anybody there? So, capital H and a question mark. It's a question. Umar said, are you the... Are you the what, Umar? Okay. So, capital AREYOU, the, and then you need to have something. Are you the teacher? Are you the learner? Are you the same person I met on Skype last week? Zeb said, morning. Then Yaz came along and said, hi, I have a presentation about Italy's culture. Wow, how come everybody's getting presentations to do? What's going on in the world? How can I make the introduction? I have some problems with my pronunciation and your spelling. So, capital H, small I, comma, I have to prepare a presentation, or I have to give a presentation, I should say. I have to give a presentation, and presentation, although it's scary, shouldn't be presentation! Stop trying to scare people. So small Presentatation about Italian culture. I wouldn't say Italy's culture, I'd say Italian culture. Full stop. How should I introduce it? I would say, rather than how can I make the introduction, how should I introduce it? I have some problems with my pronunciation. So PRONUNCIATION, full stop. We can't really help you with your pronunciation in a text chatting room, of course, and I've no idea how good or bad your pronunciation is, but I wrote, hi Yaz, if you're a member of the forum and free on a Friday afternoon, you can give your presentation to the TGIF group in Skype, and we will give you feedback. A few members have been brave enough in the past to do this, and it was really nice. Alternatively, make a YouTube video of your presentation, post it online, and request feedback. By the way, you need to be very brave to do that. You could start with something punchy like Italy, land of pizza, pasta, and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But there is so much more. Oh, you could do Italy, the shape of a boot. Zeb said, hi Yaz. If you look a few messages down, you'll see that Evelyn is also looking for someone to help her writing a narrative essay. It's about her coming to America. Maybe you could share the knowledge you two have about writing compositions. Good idea, Zeb. Yeah, if you've both got the same kind of thing to do, support each other in doing it. Umar came along and said, anyone want English-speaking partner? Okay, I'd say, Umar, does anyone, and that's ANYONE, all one word, want an English, capital E, speaking partner, question mark? I wrote, thousands of people do. But the question really is, what do they do about it? And Miley said, yes, I need, dear. Okay, which is really sweet. I'd say yes, capital Y, comma, I, capital I, need someone, dear. Okay, and full stop. I just repeat what I've said before. Using dear when you don't know somebody can be a little bit over familiar, especially if you're speaking to a native speaker. Okay, sweetie? Oh, you should have joined our drama session when we were doing the interview based on the Monty Python sketch. Have a look in the forum under activities and you'll see the Monty Python sketch. It's really funny. Can I call you sweetie? No, you can't. And then I got to live chat and Dora said, means? I would say, what does it mean? Okay, what does this mean? Or what is this? Something like that, rather than means. In which case, you should have a capital M and one question mark. And I wrote, well, I post that when I'm ready to chat on a Tuesday morning, but no one was here. Luckily, everybody turned up for Skype live chat, and we had a nice conversation about emails and how to control them and how to track them, which was really scary. One of the students showed me how she tracks emails to see if they've been opened or read. I'm paranoid now. I'm completely paranoid, Sarah. If you hear this, you've done my head in. Anyhow, that's pretty much it. For this week. So I hope you've enjoyed listening. I enjoyed recording it. Thank you for giving me the material to record and being active. Try and say a little bit more than hi and hello just to keep Aladdin happy. And don't forget, this will be posted on the page, and on the same page you'll also be able to listen to Aladdin's radio broadcast, which is a hoot and really worth listening to, especially for your listening skills and following without a text. Okay, well, a little bit of a text. You'll see what I mean if you go and listen, okay? And have fun with your English. Practice your English. It's your English. I keep saying this to people. It's not my English. I know English. It's your English. It's, you could say the same to me. Lynn, you should be practicing your German. It's your German. So nobody can hand it to you on a plate. You have to go out there, grab it, get your knife and fork out and scoff the lot, okay? So be nice, be kind, and don't forget, if you can't be good, just don't get caught. Bye.